Fire Gary Gensler is sure picking up some steam. Let's jump right into it. So, announced, U.S. Congressman files legislation to fire Gary Gensler. And I want to give props to this person for making this graphic. Adrian, not going to try on the last name, but this is a fantastic graphic. And let's take a look at what the congressman did here. Congressman Warren Davidson actually fired the SEC Stabilization Act to restructure the SEC and hashtag fire Gary Gensler, which is still trending on Twitter, coincidentally. U.S. capital markets must be protected from a tyrannical chairman, including the current one. It's time for real reform and to fire Gary Gensler as chair of the SEC. Statement is below. You can go find that statement out on Twitter. It's certainly popping around out there. Definitely worth a read. Now, will this actually happen? I don't know, but it sure seems like it could be picking up some steam here, so fingers crossed. In other news, meme coins. Okay, so Pepe. Why am I talking about Pepe? Well, Gary didn't call it a security, so of course you've got the Pepe crowd out there saying Pepe on Robinhood now. I don't think this is going to happen, guys, but nice try. So Pepe on Robinhood now is trending. I just wanted to include it, not because it's super informative, but just because it kind of made me laugh. Hopefully it makes you laugh too. The Hinman emails. So let's get into the XRP case here and try to figure out, is XRP, a good buy right now? Has it already, maybe started to pump up, with people buying the rumor with the intention of selling the news? And a lot of talk about the Hinman emails coming out this week. If you're not familiar with that, it's a long drawn out, legal process here with XRP Ripple versus the SEC. SEC declared them a security back in 2020 or something like that. Anyways, they've been fighting ever since in court, and SEC has tried repeatedly to keep these emails out of the process. XRP has won repeatedly on getting them entered into the legal process officially. So they're going to get released tomorrow, June 13th, 2023, and John E. Deaton, who I believe is a lawyer working on this case, kind of mentions here what the release schedule might look like. And, if we go back and say, why are these potentially relevant? It all goes back to a speech that Hinman made when he was with the SEC back in 2018, where he basically said, Bitcoin and Ethereum, not securities, right? So the whole, premise here from the XRP Ripple team is they need copies of the emails, kind of the drafts of the speech, etc., to determine how the SEC, made the call, right? How they determined that Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities. It's important for their legal defense, and since no one can get a straight answer out of the SEC on what is a security and what is not, despite repeatedly asking, see the Coinbase lawsuit where they literally sued SEC for not answering their questions, and then SEC turned around and sued them recently. So this, Gary Gensler and the SEC, they're out of control. They won't answer what's a security when asked, even when brought to Congress to ask, and Congress is asking him flat out, and he just kind of rambles on incoherently. So anyways, back to this. It's important that they understand how the SEC arrived at that decision for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And in order to do that, they want copies of these emails, which are getting admitted into this legal process. So it's a little bit of a read here, but the long and short of it is these emails will be made public on June 13th and is expected to be bullish news for XRP. So that leads us to the question, right? Is XRP a good buy? Could you buy now and expect a pump off of this news tomorrow? Is it going to be kind of a nothing burger? Where do we go from here? Personally, I don't think, this case ends tomorrow, right? I do think the emails, certainly bolster the XRP Ripple position in this legal process, may give a little bit of a short-term pump, but once the legal decision is reached, I do expect this project to pump pretty well. Not financial advice, obviously. Let's take a look at some XRP charts, though, and see where is XRP trading compared to where it's been in the past. And, right now, if we were to look at the 200-week EMA and the 200-week simple moving average, it's kind of right in between those two right now. So, When you're looking at something like this, that could be a good buy zone, maybe. One thing that does concern me here, buying now, is it's been kind of on an uptrend all year long, essentially, or since late 2022 even. And that has been off of just repeated, bullish news in the XRP case. So I think you've seen a lot of accumulation here with, kind of that whole, speculative play, right? People are speculating a positive outcome, so they're averaging in, myself included. I have to disclose, I have bought some XRP along the way in here because I also am seeing some speculative moves here. So the real question is everyone going to sell immediately into whatever pump may or may not happen next, right? And that's what you got to be worried about if you buy here, and it's a, buy the rumor, sell the news type event, right? Are you setting yourself up for a temporary loss? What's your time frame? If you're holding for a year, 2 years, somewhere in that time frame, probably closer to 18 months on us, probably going to be looking pretty good. Again, not financial advice, but it does have the chance to return to all-time highs and actually go outrun those by quite a bit. So, at a 200-week moving average, I'm actually thinking about getting more myself, knowing that, there could be some people selling the news tomorrow. But if you're in that for a day trading thing, I'm not sure I would be looking at it right now. For a 12 to 18 month timeline, I'll come back to why I like what I see here. But I want to also look at this 4-hour chart, and here's where we're seeing the effects of the lawsuit. Here the first one. The lawsuit against Binance, when SEC sued Binance, right? And then Coinbase lawsuit happens in here. It's a nothing burger. We're going sideways. Then all the news on Friday with, Binance, I think US freezing some withdrawals or something like that. Anyways, everything just smashed down on that news. All the altcoins got super wrecked. And then XRP made up its ground over the weekend pretty significantly. And we're right back here to around where we started before even the lawsuits. So where we're trading right now, it's almost like these lawsuits didn't happen with Binance US and Coinbase and things being declared securities. And, again, they're not securities until this whole plays out in court and the court makes a ruling on it. Just because the SEC says they're securities does not mean they're securities yet. And I'm talking about ADA and, Solana and some of these other projects that, Gary just wants to randomly call security, even though he, wasn't calling them that when Coinbase went IPO in 2021. But hey, that's a whole different video I think we've done before. So I guess my point here is that, in the short term, yeah, you're more likely to go up than down when the emails come out tomorrow. I don't expect a significant move on the emails by themselves. I do expect upwards price movement when the case gets resolved, and hopefully it's either a settlement, slap on the wrist, XRP pays some sort of fine, or maybe it's just an outright win for the XRP. Of course, there is the less likely scenario. I won't say unlikely, the less likely scenario that that we do see an SEC victory, and that would be pretty rough for all of crypto, but it's really looking bullish for XRP Ripple in this case. One of the few projects not to hit its all-time, or not to return to its previous all-time high in the last bull run was XRP, because they were sued somewhere in here. So they went down when everything else went up. And, it was actually probably a good accumulation zone in there. If they win this case in the next bull run, not only do I expect with all their banking partnerships for them to return to their all-time high, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they at least double that, probably more. All the banking partnerships, they've just picked up strength and they've been building ever since. So for them, they've been business as usual through this whole process and just continuing to build and make partnerships. I won't say it's my favorite project in the world. I'm not a huge XRP fan, but I do think it's could be a potentially profitable play. So let's assume that they only go back to their previous all-time high, which is north of $3, pushing almost $3.40, depending on which exchange you were at the time. So we'll call it a 6.5x. We'll call it a 6x on the conservative side. You'd be a 6x from where you are today. So if you put in $100, probably at $600, if it returns to its all-time high. However, based on, the market cap and the potential to move with everything else moving in this next bull run, I've heard some estimates go as high as, could there be a $15 to $20 XRP? There could. It's, I think that's kind of on the high side of optimistic, but yes, it's possible. And in that case, you're looking at many more X's, right? But on the conservative side, I'm looking at a 6X play is very much in the cards, very probable in this bull run. Not financial advice, but that is the way I'm playing my cards. So yeah, quick summary here. Congress is trying to say SEC stabilization bill, or I forget what they called it here. Yes, the SEC Stabilization Act to fire Gary Gensler. Pepe is trying to get on Robinhood. Don't think that's going to happen. Hinman emails come out tomorrow. It's bullish for XRP, and we did review the price charts here. Thanks for stopping by, Modern Moneymakers. This is Jeremy.